Our teenage years are definitely memorable ones, and sometimes for the wrong reasons. The days of navigating through friendships, first loves, and of course, the pressure of performing in school. Not to mention all the dumb decisions that you make and the terrible hairstyles that you thought were cool at the time and look back upon in complete disappointment. Yeah, that was me junior year of high school. Mistakes were made. For those that are new, my name is Muad. I'm 22 years old and currently in dental school. I love playing soccer, making these videos, and just trying to find the balance between all the things that life throws at you. And if you are a teenager, I know a lot of the struggles that you're facing because I was right there with you. I think I did a lot of things right, alhamdulillah, but if I could go back, there are definitely things that I would change. But I don't have a time machine, so the best thing I can do is make this video and hope that you guys can also learn from my mistakes. The first thing that I would do is to work on my mind. The most underrated thing that you can do, which we don't talk about, especially as guys, is to get your mental health right. People with good mental health are happier, are more disciplined, are more productive, and end up being more successful. Because mental health isn't just about being happy all the time. Traits like discipline, concentration, having peace of mind, all of those are included in mental health. So I'm not saying that you should try and be happy all the time. I'm saying that you should work on your mind so you're able to have all those other traits, to be more disciplined, to be more productive, to be more at peace with yourself. Working on your mental health is going to affect everything else that we talk about. If your mental health is good, it'll be easier to improve the other aspects of your life. Someone who's happy, who's confident, who's disciplined, who's charismatic, is able to get along better with themselves and with other people. Whereas someone who doesn't have good mental health, someone who's lazy, someone who has negative self-talk, someone who isn't able to concentrate on something for a period of time, they're going to struggle a lot in other aspects of life as well. And so prioritizing your mind and working on these things from now are going to have a huge impact in the future, because these small habits that you build up snowball over time. Going to the gym today won't get you any visible progress, but if you go to the gym every day for 365 days, you will definitely see progress. You might not gain that much knowledge from reading a page today, but if you read a page in a book every single day for a year, you would be a lot smarter than where you started off. And it's so much easier to continue a good habit that you've been doing for a while. If you're already used to reading before bed or going on a walk in the morning, you're gonna do it. If you've built the habit of going to the Masjid every night for Isha, you're almost gonna feel guilty if you skip a day. But then the opposite is also true. It's a lot harder to get rid of a bad habit once you've already been doing it for a long time. I have this bad habit of using my phone before bed, and I know I shouldn't, and I would much rather pick up a book and read that instead. But because I've instilled this habit now of using my phone before I go to sleep, it's a lot harder to get rid of it. And that's why you have to train your mind from early on. Start these good habits slowly, and over time, over the years, they will make you such a complete person. So my biggest advice to my younger self would be to start working on these traits. Start meditating and journaling and working on my attention span, because those things are going to help with the rest of the things that we're about to mention. The second thing I wish I would have done is to learn a high income skill. As a teenager, you have so much time on your hands. I don't want to hear you complaining about the amount of homework you have to do or the chores at home. You don't know what being busy is until you're in college or even after college. You have so much time on your hands right now, so use it to learn something that will benefit you in the future. One of the best things you can do is to learn a skill that will make you a lot of money. These can be things like marketing, sales, starting a business, content creation, coding, photography, videography. Any of these things, if you build them up from early on, can make you a lot of money in the future. I know a friend who's very talented in videography, and at the age of 23, he is shooting with some very high profile clients. And it isn't some genetic gift that he was given. He just really worked and honed in on that talent. I have another friend who's really good with software engineering or coding, or it's something in the computer engineering realm. I don't know. I'm a dentist, so that side of the world doesn't make any sense to me. But he's really good with technology. And because of the skills that he learned, which, by the way, school didn't teach him, right? He learned these things on his own time, but he was able to get a really nice job while he's still in college because he already had those skills. And now when he finishes college, he can get an even more lucrative job in that career field. And remember, if you work on your mental health, if you're able to concentrate on something for a long period of time, that is going to help you learn that skill. For example, with videos, for example, with making YouTube videos, you have to spend a lot of time writing the script, recording it, editing it. If I didn't have good mental health, if I wasn't disciplined, if I wasn't focused and concentrated, it would take me significantly more time and energy to get these things done. The third thing I wish I would have done is to memorize more Quran. I remember my parents always told me as a kid that memorizing Quran only gets harder the older you get. And I remember I would always look at them like, that's not true. The older I get, the smarter I'm gonna get, the easier it's gonna be to memorize. I can say with certainty that they were 100% right. I'm very grateful that my parents did a lot of my hifz, but I wasn't able to finish the entire Quran. And that is one of my biggest regrets, because being able to have that memorized and understanding the Book of Allah is one of the biggest blessings that you can be given. And now with dental school and a million other things going on, it's still possible, but it's a lot harder to do your hifz. When you have time as a teenager, really prioritize this. I mean, we mentioned, making money and mental health, but this is your akhirah right here. Even if you're not an Arabic speaker, there's so many different ways you can still memorize. You can have a Quran teacher, you can just listen to Quran through your phone and take it slow. If you memorize one ayah or one line a day, again, over time, that is going to add up. Mama would always tell me that when you do something for the sake of Allah, even if it's small, Allah is going to put barakah in the rest of your things. So if you're memorizing Quran, or if you're even reading a little bit of Quran every day, the rest of your day is going to have a lot of barakah. The fourth thing I wish I would have done is learn more valuable life skills. We already talked about a high income skill, but these life skills are things that you would use on a day-to-day basis. Things like learning how to cook different dishes, or how to change a flat tire, or how to unclog a sink. All of these things are important once you become an adult. And mind you, these are things that school unfortunately does not teach us. We're never taught how insurance companies work, or how credit cards work, or taxes, or any of that stuff. But you're going to need to know it sooner than you think. I really wish I spent more time learning these things, helping my mom in the kitchen, learning a new recipe, or helping my dad garden outside. I don't know. These things might seem kind of dumb and pointless at first, but trust me, it's a lot less pointless than the hours of Netflix shows that you're watching. The more of these life skills that you learn, the more of a complete and whole person you are going to be. The fifth thing that I would do is I would read more and scroll less. I've made videos before on social media and how much I absolutely despise it, but it is one of the biggest factors in why we see so many problems in our generation. And I've seen the effects that it's had on me personally as well. Feeling this need to always be on my phone or to scroll, it's absolutely killed my attention span. It's killed my concentration. All these little hits of dopamine that you get make the rest of life just not seem as fun. I could go into that topic for hours, but if I replaced my social media usage with books instead, right, with beneficial readings that would have actually improved me as a person, I think I would have been in a lot better place now. There are certain books that I've read that have completely changed my perspective on dealing with people, on psychology, on my own self and my self-improvement. And if I were to do that more and scroll less, there definitely would be improvement. Reading is one of the most, oh my God, I just realized I've had AirPods in the entire time. Okay, well, I don't need these. Reading is one of the most underrated traits that you can have. The sixth thing that I would do is I would go to the Masjid more often. Through my high school years, I remember not particularly looking forward to going to the Masjid. I remember my dad would kind of have to force me a bit to go to Taraweeh during Ramadan, and it wasn't until a bit later on where we started kind of running community events and boys halaqas in the Masjid, and that's when I really fell in love with it. Other than the obvious factor of salah, there's a lot more benefits to going to the Masjid. Being involved in these halaqas and community events gave me this sense of purpose that was bigger than myself. And if you've been following this channel for a while, you know that the point I probably stress the most is the importance of good friends. And where better to find righteous, like-minded people than the masjid, than the house of Allah. That is where you're going to find the people that you want to be around. That is where you're going to find the people that are going to help you in your iman. And this is especially true if you're a guy. You should definitely be trying to go to Fajr and Isha at the masjid every day. If not, then at least one of the two. Once you build this habit for it, your heart will start to yearn for it. You're going to start to want to go to the masjid once the Isha time starts coming around. This is definitely a piece of advice that you're going to want to take seriously, and one that I wish I would have started earlier. The seventh and last thing I wish I would have done is to surround myself with more Muslims. Freshman year of high school, you can't be too picky with your friend group. At that age, you really care about what people think, and you kind of just want to be accepted, right? You don't want to be that loser or that loner that has no friends. Even though, by the way, when you get older, none of that stuff matters. But as a teenager, as a high schooler, that's like the top of the priority list. So I kind of just made friends with the first people that I met. And although they weren't the worst people, they weren't Muslim. And so they didn't do very Muslim things. They cursed a lot, they dated, they talked about very lewd stuff. And naturally, when you're around that type of environment every day, you start acting like that as well, right? I started cursing. I started thinking about haram relationships, and I could see the effect it was having on me. It wasn't until I kind of realized the effect they were having, and I made a very conscious effort to switch up my friend group. I started finding more Muslims in the community. I went to this Muslim summer camp and met so many guys there, and some of them I still consider to this day to be some of my closest friends. Especially going to Dallas and studying at Qalam and being around so many Muslims, I would say that had the biggest impact on me as a person. One thing I think we lack in our generation is some type of community where as Muslims we can kind of push each other to grow and be the best version of ourselves. And so inshallah, I want to start something like that, where we're really able to hold each other accountable and to make each other better Muslims. I don't know what that's going to look like yet, but make sure to subscribe if you haven't so you can stay up to date, because I'm really excited for it. I think it's something we definitely need in our generation. But thank you guys for watching another video. I hope that helped, and I will see you guys in the next one. Wassalamu alaikum.